Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 8. There are 6 stages in our project. The first part is the thinking stage. It contains 6 steps. First, the purpose of our test is to measure what reading ability students have achieved. Second, as the reading topic covers animals and COVID-19, students can discuss them with classmates in daily life and use them in writing. Third, the 10 candidates are aged between 14 and 15 years old. They all take English as a second language, and according to Cipher, they are at the age of 82. Fourth, the grammatical competence are covered according to the syllabus. Students need to understand the structure of narrative and expository and use the imaginative functions of language to depict the fiction. Fifth, the 2 reading passages are adapted to make them more readable for students. Last, the 6 qualities of usefulness are especially underlined. The minimum acceptable consistency is to keep the score consistent between at least 2 raters. We build our construct validity by confirming that our test can infer students' ability competence as well as cognitive ability. Authenticity is underlined due to the MCQs are widely used in both the project and in the real world, and the candidates' performance in this project can match their grades back to schools. Topical knowledge of animals in this project is overlapped with the content they learned at school, which can offer students a feeling of comfort and security. And as mentioned before, language ability will also be tested. Our test was intended to have positive macro and micro level impacts on social and individuals. Questionnaires for both teachers and students will be collected. The test is practical because there is neither need for lots of human resources or additional equipment. Reading materials can be adapted from books and online resources.
Originally, 6 passages are selected from all members as test options. The themes of this reading text are also distinctive and presented in various range of vocabulary and grammar due to their genres. Some of these passages fit our students' language level according to the syllabus, but they have not been ready to be used yet. Afterwards, only 2 are selected. One is a narrative story about a squirrel hiding his acorn in the tree, and the other one is an expository writing about the talented dogs being used to recognize patients with COVID-19, which is inextricably in the students' daily life. Based on the reading skills in an English language syllabus from NYU China, test takers in this exam are asked to understand the basic information of stories and grasp the main idea that the author wants to express. Finally, the length of these 2 passages being cut down to 300 words around. There are many anticipated problems after we determined the 2 passages, vocabulary and grammar complexity. For the vocabulary part, students in junior high school are still in an early stage of their English language learning, and they have inadequate access to L2 materials, so that there is a gap between their textbooks and authentic articles, even excerpts. Thus, we turn to the MOE English language syllabus and use it as a corpus to paraphrase the text into a more suitable version as the final text. Secondly, grammar complexity is another tough point. In the original text, many clauses and long sentences are used to carry as much information as possible, while we ought to cut these messages into pieces for test takers to understand better.
Hello everyone, this is Derek, and let me introduce the pilot stage. After our first draft is finished, we invite the middle school teachers to examine the test. And after they finish and they provide feedbacks to us, they suggest we may need to improve the readability of passages because students cannot read it easily. And they also suggest we need to reconsider the choice of short answer questions because in that specific province, these short answer questions is not popular in their text. So we choose to shorten the length of the passages. What's more, we use words existing in the textbook to replace the new unfamiliar words. And after we adapt the first draft, we invite the same middle school students in an educational institution to test, and the result is they all perform well in multiple choice questions but lose points in short answer questions. So we provide more detailed instructions about the short answer questions. And after that, we find out the readability of passages is improved. However, students can get high scores easily, so we increase the level of questions. To be specific, we change one multiple choice questions into short answer questions. And for this test, we develop 3 levels. The first one is students need to have the ability to understand the general story of these 2 passages. And the second level is they need to have the ability to find out detailed information from passages, including finding out the sequence of actions. And the third level is to be able to give their own opinions and provide evidence from passages. And this is all of my stage.
Okay, now it's the evaluative stage. In this part, we're going to have a brief look at the evaluation of students' scores. First of all, let's look at the whole test scores. It ranges from 6 to 12. Based on scores, it's easy to calculate the mean, mode, and median. They show the value of the typical performance of students is around 10. Another aspect is about dispersion. The range is 6, a small number, and the standard deviation SD is 1.77, also a small number. Those 2 values give us a clue about the intergroup difference. The difference between students in this test is not widespread. Then we come to the item analysis to evaluate every piece of individual items. FV and DI are the 2 features we look into. We can see from the table, the outcome is not ideal. Number 1 and 3 is extremely difficult, and number 4 is extremely easy. Only item 8 is acceptable. As in this achievement test, we want to ensure most students can get a high score. When it comes to DI, the 0 and minus numbers are not acceptable. Number 8, 9, 10 are acceptable. In regard of inter-reader reliability, there is no difference between 2 readers' results, so the reliability is 100%. The last one is concurrent validity. The rule is calculated as 0.84, a big number, which tells us there is a strong correlation between teachers' ranking and the ranking comes from our test. Okay, please welcome my partner to introduce the last stage.
At last, I'm going to summarize our reflections during the test producing. Firstly, the level of sample students which is used for reference should be in line with target students' ability. Because this time we didn't do any further research about sample students, there was a gap between 2 group students' scores. Secondly, detailed, clear, and specific question instructions should be offered, such as the last question of passage 2 requires higher language proficiency and integration for grade A students. It would be better to offer an elaborate stem, such as please tell what people have less than dogs do that causes we cannot detect COVID-19. Students' capability can be told by their single word or full sentence answer. Thirdly, test designers should try to avoid replacing simple questions with challenging ones, especially those types are rare in their normal test or we cannot acknowledge their normal levels. At last, we forgot to attach instruction cover on the first page, and its absence may lead to the possibility that students are unable to allocate their time appropriately or miss items. Therefore, during designing a test, members should do multiple check of all the exam-related documents to avert omission and printing errors. That's all for our today's report. Thank you for listening.